If you've been enjoying our podcast as much as we have and hope that we continue past 50 episodes, here's your chance. Here's your chance to help make that happen. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, not only will you help the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary podcast to live on, but you'll also get exclusive content just for you.
Here's what's in store for you. Join monthly Q&A sessions where you can ask us about anything. Whether it's about our work, personal interests, or advice on your own projects, we're here to connect and share.
Enjoy unique content created specifically for Patreon subscribers, including bonus segments from our shows.
You'll have a say in what we create, and you'll have a voice in future content.
Benefit from exclusive discounts on merchandise and entries into special giveaways. It's our way of saying thank you for your support.
Receive personalized shout-outs in videos, podcasts, or social media posts.
Because your support on Patreon allows us to dedicate more resources to creating the content that you love.
You could join the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast community on Patreon and become a Prairie patron for just $5 a month.
The first 50 new members will get autographed pictures of Allison and me, a signed Living on a Prairie card from Pamela,
and signed book plates for all of our books. Yes, for Confessions of a Prairie Bitch and for Prairie Man, My Little House Life and Beyond.
We thank you so much for your continued support, and we cannot wait to share our ongoing journey with you on Patreon. Stay tuned for our launch date.
Discover the charm of Simi Valley, California, the home of the prairie. Visit Simi Valley, where adventure meets history and the spirit of the prairie comes alive. Explore the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, step aboard Air Force One, enjoy stunning hikes, and savor delicious local cuisine. Whether you're here for a weekend getaway or a family vacation, Simi Valley offers something for everyone and is only 30 minutes from Los Angeles. Plan your visit today and experience the best of Simi Valley. Go to visitsimivalley.com for more details. Your adventure awaits in Simi Valley.
Well, hello again, Bonnet Heads. Welcome. I'm Pamela Bob, creator of Living on a Prairie, and your host, here along with our very lovable prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim, and our hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler, both beloved members of Little House on the Prairie. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how are you, Pamela?
Hey, I'm great. I'm good.
You look good.
Been a crazy week here.
It has been.
Been a wild week, but I'm always so glad to be here with you guys in our safe space, as we say. Allison, you were in P-Town this
I was,
past week.
hence the gold glitter manicure. Do you love? I was in fabulous Provincetown, Massachusetts on the Cape, which is this marvelous art thing, show, game mecca, cuckoo place with ice cream and pizza and drag queens. And then also comedy.
Ice cream and pizza and drag queens, oh my.
Right, and theater and performance art and all kinds of things and straight people and everybody. And it's wild. Some of the shows, I mean, there must be like 100 different shows going. It's almost like a fringe festival. There's so much stuff happening. And I did 3 shows there at a marvelous place called The Red Room that I highly recommend. And I had fabulous pizza. And I packed them in. They're so enthusiastic. Everyone who's in P-Town is there like, woo, vacation party, and we did, and it was epic.
Awesome
Indeed. And you, Dean, you've had a big week.
Well,
what happened this week?
Well, it's been sort of fun. Obviously, Prairie Man is in its 2nd week, heading into its 3rd week in release. The audio book for Prairie Man, My Little House Life and Beyond, just dropped earlier this week. I recorded it probably about 2 months ago and had such a good time doing it. I can't wait to hear what people think of it.
And people have been awaiting the audiobook of it. I think they're really anticipating it. So this is great. It's out, everybody. It's out. You can enjoy.
They're going to listen to it at night. I'm just saying. You know how it is.
Go to sleep to Prairie Man. Fantastic.
Well, on that note, a little switcheroo here. I will say this week has been a trying week, and it's with great sadness to say, and I think we need to acknowledge this, that Little House on the Prairie family experienced a loss this last weekend when it announced that Shannen Doherty lost her decade-long fight against cancer this past Saturday. I believe it was July 13th at just 53 years old.
Yes.
And it's really, really sad. How are you guys doing with it?
Well, I hadn't seen Shannen in person in over 40 years.
She played your little niece. She was your niece.
But 40 years ago, at 11 or 12, Shannen was Jenny Wilder in one of her first jobs, and she was just she was pretty terrific. And she had an appetite for the work and loved doing it, and was a wonderful castmate. We had a good time with her.
And for future Patreon members, we are going to have an exclusive special episode with your memories, our memories of Shannen, available very soon. So watch out for our launch date.
And
Stay tuned for that.
she was just such a tough. She fought so hard. It went into
Yeah.
remission. She was doing a podcast. I mean, she really did. She was a tough gal, and she fought with everything she had, and it came back, and she was still going out and doing stuff like, well, it's back, but this is what I'm going to do. I mean, it was kind of amazing.
She was going to run it out.
Yeah.
The full, and I think she knew where she was, but she was going to run it out to its max, and good for her.
Yeah, and she was doing her podcast until very, very recently.
Until the very end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's clear the palate a little bit. And gosh, summer is halfway over already, which is terrifying.
Where
this
did it
year
go?
has been going so fast. Things are getting very busy in Laura World. At the time of this recording, you guys are about to travel to Walnut Grove, Minnesota for the 50th anniversary celebration there. I'm sure you will recap your experience next time.
It's always a blast in Walnut Grove. It'll be epic.
We were there for the 40th. We're there for the 45th. Now the 50th anniversary of the series. So it's always an amazing time. People come from all over the world to little tiny postage stamp size Walnut Grove. The population of Walnut Grove is about 700 people. It becomes 3 to 4 times that size during this special weekend.
Yeah,
so
wild.
it's pretty cool.
Okay, well, let's move on. We have a very big special guest today. I dare say that this is the most anticipated episode of this podcast that we have ever had. The response from the fans has been insane, and I'm one of them. So before we meet her and talk all things Walnut Grove, from the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, and me in New York, this is Little House 50th Anniversary Podcast. Okay, here's the moment. Let's meet today's guest. She was born on September 26, 1962 in Berkeley, California, and began her acting career at a very young age. She's an original, essential, and beloved member of the Little House family. I cannot emphasize that more. Episodes featuring her rich, dramatic, and traumatic life on the prairie. That's Trauma on the Prairie, folks. Set ratings records for the series. Today, she is Melissa Sloan, but she became famous and unforgettable as the eldest Ingalls daughter, Mary Ingalls. Please welcome the woman Little House fans will always know as Mary. That's right. She's here. Melissa Sue Anderson. Hello, Melissa.
Hey, Pamela, how are you?
I'm great. I cannot believe I'm talking to you. Like I said before we recorded, I've been Team Mary since day one. She was my favorite. I know Allison's laughing at me, but it's true. So this is really, really special. And thank you so much for being here. It means so much to all the fans, too.
Thank you for having me. My first visual podcast, actually.
Wow, really?
I mean, I've done them a little bit, phoning in, but
sure,
not actually on camera. So
now
people are thrilled to see you.
I wanted to, Pamela, you said something right off the bat. I think this, because you're so thoughtful about this. You said you were team, well, maybe you'll be thoughtful about it. You said you were Team Mary all the way. Why were you Team Mary all the way?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, you're acting. I think you were a prodigy. I think you, especially at such a young age. I mean, as an adult, I think you were an incredible actor, but as a child, I can't. Um, it's just unfathomable how good you were. And so I was always drawn to that. And there was something about Mary too. I mean, people always chose their people that they identified the most with. And I don't know if people are surprised that I identified more with Mary than with Laura, but I just did. I don't know. There was something about her I loved. I loved her, her struggles too.
Are you an oldest child? Are you an
No,
oldest
I'm the youngest.
Okay, so Mary has that the older child thing. I was the firstborn. There's something about being the firstborn that makes you a different person than a second or thirdborn.
Some people considered Mary a bit of a narc.
Oh, yeah.
A bit of a narc. When the school teacher was late to school and the kids were playing in the front yard, and Mary would be the one to ring the bell and say, no, we have to come inside, everybody. It's time.
How many times? Laura, Mom, Pa aren't going to like that now. Laura, it's true. It's true. Mary was trying to hold down the law here.
That's right. It's like Karen Grassley always having to say, shut the door, shut the door, more coffee, dear. Yeah, there were some of those, that's for sure.
Before we get too far into this, I just want to thank you and Allison, Melissa, for the coming together that you had in France, quite wonderfully, that made this possible. So thanks to both of you.
It was you're welcome, but it was a pleasure, and we were in such a nice atmosphere, and it's nice to put rumors and misunderstandings and whatever to rest, and just be the old ladies that we seem to be now.
We were just chilling on the beach in Monaco and went, hey, it's
two old ladies chilling on the beach.
Two old ladies chilling on the beach in Monaco, babe, and it was awesome. And we said, I like this.
That's right. We didn't do anything there. We just laid back and relaxed.
So what was the drink? What was the drink of choice?
It was great, though.
That's right.
What was the drink of choice in Monaco on the beach?
Very
Just
lovely,
two old ladies chilling on the
lovely
beach.
champagne that they do serve at the Monte Carlo Television Festival. Do you know the Television Festival Monte Carlo? It's been going for like over 60 years. People say, "What's the Television Festival Monte Carlo?" It's like Cannes, but for film, but it's a little laid back. But we had Morgan Freeman, we had the cast of NCIS. It was this huge thing. It's epic. There's all but you don't you do interviews. You do some interviews, you do some press, and then you go to a party. Then you do some interviews, and then you have lunch, and then you have dinner, and then you hang out on the beach.
It sounds like a great place to go. I mean, you're not dealing. No, are you dealing with fans? I mean, is there a fan component?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So tell us about how do you deal with fans, Melissa? I mean, I've only been with you at one event, years ago in Genesee Village. We also were in New York together. But how do you deal with fans? What's your story?
Especially now, 50 years later. I mean, the fact that it's still going, maybe stronger than ever.
In Monaco, because we have so many French fans.
Yeah.
And there they all were all together. No, and I had done it one other time a couple of years ago. They're all very nice and very respectful, and it's always been. I was kind of raised that way, that it's part of the job. You if you want, which I of course did, if you want to be an actress, if you want to be successful, which at that time I seemed to be becoming, then you have to be, you have to respect your fans and know that they're the people that keep your show on the air, So it, and really the French fans are very, very considerate. So.
They have a thing outside when you arrive for the big hall for the interviews and whatnot, where they let the fans line up behind like these stanchions, and they basically, you get out of the car and they scream very nicely, but they're like, and as I walk up, I say, Allison. And then when they realized they were getting like an entire troop of Prairie people, Karen, Melissa, And then they went, wait,
Right.
who's that? Oh, Wendy, Wendy. They were like, they were on board for everybody. And they did. They would yell for us. And what they kind of did was said, look, we're not having a formal autograph thing, really. There's going to be a lunch where some people like won a lottery, get to come get their little house sign. But this is what you do is when you have a few minutes, you go, okay, I can do this section. You just kind of go by, sign
Sure.
a few, and then go, I got to go to the thing. And, this goes on
Right.
all weekend. There we are. And we're color. Okay, here's my question. We
color
were color
coordinated, guys.
coordinated. I don't know how we did this. We didn't text each other in the morning and say, I'm wearing the blue pants. What are you wearing? We all came down the lobby and stared at each other and said, you got the memo that it's blue today. And then we came down for dinner. How is it that Matt Laberto even owned a green suit, let Newt wear it
Right.
when we all came down in green? We had the green.
Right.
How did we do that? Because it looked like a stylist had met with us in our rooms and dressed us.
It did. Yes, we were just
was a-
all terribly in sync, I guess.
It
There was
was
a gold
very
outfit
strange.
too, everyone.
The gold we
theme.
did. There was the gold fit. What was it? I don't.
I have to
Yes,
say, yeah, guys do not pick up the phone or text and you do color coordination. This is something that women do,
And
right?
we-
I mean,
but
And we didn't
did-
even
but
do it.
we did.
and you didn't do it, which is
thought
just
about-
amazing.
I
yeah.
was like getting dressed, going, we should call each other. We don't know. We got, a bunch of women here. We got Leslie. We don't know where all. And then we came down, and it was it was weird. It was like psychic color coordination, and it was every single time. It was the entire time we were
Right.
there.
Right. It was weird.
stunning.
Well, I want to know, Melissa, if you have I know in France you did, but generally speaking, do you have any sense of how beloved you are for the work you did on this show?
Oh, no. No, but that's nice of you to say, but no.
It's not just lip service. I'm telling you, it's not just lip service. It's true.
Well, the only thing I can kind of, make it make a little sense to me is the way I feel about, or used to feel as a kid, especially about certain shows, the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family. Those were, my big shows and the stars that I loved. And so I can understand it that way. I can understand, having that kind of relationship. You feel like you have this relationship watching them.
Yeah.
So I get that, but beloved, I don't know.
Well,
Oh,
and during
you
the
are.
during the time of filming, did you have a sense of that this show was going to go on and on, or did you know the fandom? Did you know what it was going to turn into?
Oh, no. No, I didn't even think the pilot was going to sell.
Really?
So no.
Yeah.
So even as a kid, not knowing anything, and clearly I knew nothing. But no, I didn't even think the pilot would sell. No, and I mean, I love the books. I had read the books years before, not that many years before, but so I did love the book. So I could see that, and I was excited about it, but I really didn't, I would never have thought that we would, I don't think I think that way anyway. I don't think I ever think down the road, this could become, we could be, I'm not that kind of that's not me.
Well, also, nobody believed it. I mean, I joke about how my dad visited the set and said, I don't know where they're spending this much money on the sets. No, who's going to watch this thing? It will last 6 months. And people didn't.
Right.
The industry didn't. The NBC thought Michael was out of his mind doing this. And so people didn't. Everyone was stunned. And by the time it was even the third year, I remember my managers, my father going, what is going on? That it was a hit. It was astounding. And nobody, well, Michael, who thought 50 years later, people would be still watching and ask, and like coming out in droves to ask us about it. It is absolutely mind-bending. How is it for you, the idea that this thing you did is like, oh, I had several jobs and I had this nice one over 50 years later. People are yelling and screaming in the street and want to talk to you 24 hours a day about something that happened. What is that? How does that make you feel? That's just so weird.
I think more about those people, like how I'm just amazed that they still, well, and I mean, a lot of them, it's, there are a lot of them are much younger than we are too. So,
Yeah, right.
but the people that are our age or older, I feel like I'm kind of incredulous, because I think how can they still like, I can understand liking something years ago, but how can they still like it? I don't know. But I mean, that much. So it is, seeing something like, a bunch of fans in one place like that is kind of amazing, really. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you how, which is as the fan here.
Yeah.
I don't know any other show that sort of seeped into the psyche of people more than Little House on the Prairie. And there was just the way it was told, the messaging of it, just the music too, which was its own separate character that added to it. All of your journeys, your acting, it changed something. It changed some sort of wiring, and your filter, your life filter was sort of altered by that show. That sticks with you sort of for the rest of your life. And it's one of those shows you can always revisit, and it feels like a warm blanket. Like it just feels safe and warm, and that same kind of feeling that you got. And it's different watching it as a kid as it is as an adult. But
that's interesting.
That messaging is still there. That's why it lasts still.
It's the safe place thing.
Yeah, it is. They want to go back.
Yeah,
back.
I think it is.
I can't believe I'm about to tell you this story. When I was in college, I had I would hold Little House on the Prairie parties at 8 a.m.
Okay, she's that big a fan. Just warning you. She's that big.
I'd make coffee, breakfast. We'd watch Little House, and I had a small group of friends. And one day it was me and a few of my best friends, and we all went, let's watch Mary Going Blind. Yeah. And we thought it would be hilarious and, to like camp. And we put on the episode thinking this is going to be so funny. Right. And within 20 minutes, we were all devastated.
and your days were ruined.
And totally ruined. And it was just a reminder of like, oh, there is nothing funny about the trauma on the prairie. Nothing.
Well, at that point,
what were we thinking?
It brings us into there's two big questions. One is, everything bad happens to Mary.
Yeah.
She loses a child. She goes blind. The house burns down. The child died in a fire. The husband gets his sight back. What happened? Why? What did they just decide? Is it that, well, she can handle this? Is it that we just decided someone has to be the designated person for this and Mary drew the short straw? Why did everything terrible happen to you on the show?
I think, the blind thing, I get this question from fans a lot, and at the time I got it, I got fan mail saying, it was so nice of the producers to write in your blindness. They thought I had gone blind as an actress, and so that I got several, quite a few letters that way. But I have had to explain that for people who didn't read the books that Mary actually did, go blind, the real Mary. A slightly different way, but same thing. And so that was okay. And that was an acting challenge for sure. And continuing challenge week after week. But yes, the rest of them really, I'm confused by them. I can't remember a lot of those episodes because it was so, I felt so over the top. And I think maybe they thought or they knew that the audience liked to feel sorry for me, maybe. But I really felt like they were running out of ideas, that they just didn't have anything else they could write for a blind pioneer. They were just out of ideas.
So let's torture
and
Mary.
So that was really behind my leaving the show, because I did two episodes the 8th season instead of doing the whole season, because between the tragedies, or one of I don't know if it was one of those two, but it probably was the year before. They had me in a scene. I think it was a circus, and I'm sitting there with Mike Landon, and he's explaining what's happening while the circus is going on. And that was I believe the only scene I was in that episode.
Oh, those.
It was just so, unnecessary, And so I just thought, I don't think they have anything else for me to do. So it was time to go.
I am so glad you said this because I left in year 7, right? And the contract ends, and they're like, "Do you want to come back?" And my agent goes, "Hey, can we have more money?" Well, no. Can we have more episodes? Okay, we have less. Tries every possible thing. But the other thing that was happening was Nellie got nice. I got married. I got nice. It's like, oh well, this is fun.
Right.
I got the babies. I got the hotel. They're lovely. This is great. Love, love, love Steve Tracy's playing Percival. But then they went, what do we do now that she's nice? And I found myself. I remember it was like the last episode I did. I kept the slip from the restaurant. I literally all I had I said, 2 more lamb stews, please, and more coffee. And I went, oh no, not the coffee, not the coffee. Every woman on the show has been complaining about the more coffee thing. Okay. Yep. And I went, I'm here with a thing saying 2 more lamb stews. People work as waitresses to become actresses. I was an actress for 7 years so that I could become a waitress. I went, this is getting weird. I went, okay, maybe I could have a relapse, something. I said, surely there's something that could happen. And it just was not going. And then, so when it was like, well, do you want to stay or go? And we both had the thing. We were now 18. You could work longer. And I know my managers and agents were saying, well, look, you could go either way here. You could go out and take chances and start doing movies or what have you, or theater. And I went, that sounds kind of good actually about now. But yeah, there's a weird zone where you're now old enough to do other things. And you're starting to get into this mired of, well, now where does this go? We'll do the same thing every week. And when you're not, nobody wants to do that.
I'm going to interject here, and we're going to take a very quick break. But when we come back, we will talk more about
we have a stagecoach buggy crash to discuss with you.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Okay.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you're stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimiValley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visitsimiValley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
Okay, we're back. Can you, Melissa, clear up something? Your name is Melissa Sue Anderson, your actual name? Because I'm hearing maybe it's not. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's Melissa Anderson.
Melissa Anderson.
Right, professionally, because that's how I started out. The way I went to school. My name when I went to school was Melissa Anderson, and so I was Melissa Anderson until there seemed to be another Melissa Anderson in SAG who didn't work but paid her dues, so I couldn't have my name. So Sue is my middle name, but when I could finally get my name back, I did, which was like in my early 20s, I think.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great. You could get it back.
Record,
Melissa Anderson dropped out of the biz.
For the record, my middle name is Margaret. You can call me that.
The Sue thing either sounded Southern or nothing against Southern, but Southern or young. And I thought, especially at that time, I was happy to be my age.
Sure.
And then, sure. And and I'm not from the South, so.
The name, your name absolutely worked for you. I mean, it fit beautifully with the whole tone of the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, it had a nice rhythm because you did have at least the right numbers. It could have been worse. It could because it went Melissa Sue Anderson, which sounded good. I mean, it could have been Melissa, Veronica.
There you go.
It could have been very weird. So at least
too many notes.
No, I realized my syllable change and everything is not as good. But I really, I was so tired of the Sue thing. And I always got Melissa Sue,
Yeah, because it was one name. God, right?
So,
all right.
But one thing I was going to say to you about the ending of the show, like when you left and I left, I think it was, I don't know what made me think of this, but it must have been the wrap party I guess it was the wrap party for the 8th season, maybe the 7th, but it must have been the 8th. And I think it was Melissa Gilbert's grandfather, I think. Somebody related to her came up to me and said that they couldn't believe that I wasn't staying. That what a deal I could have made and what an idiot I was, literally, to leave and leave that behind. And I was like, well, I want to branch out. I want to do. I've been trying to do other things all these years, and I want to spend more time doing that. And money isn't everything.
Yeah, you did 8 years. It's not like you didn't put in your time.
Yeah. So, but it was so. I mean, they were right. And I was, of course, being polite and saying, well, I understand. Yes, of course, you're right. And yes, I mean, financially speaking, of course, they were right. But I couldn't think that way then, and I wouldn't even think that way now.
But what a thing to say. Oh, happy wrap party to you, too, you weirdo.
And that was your last season, and that's what happened at the wrap party? That's awful.
Yeah, well, that was very out of character. It was, I mean, for our wrap parties, nothing like that usually
They're normally
happens,
happy occasions.
That was weird. Yes.
Well, it's weird. I mean, I remember thinking, okay, if they had said it's only going to be 2 more years, I might say, okay, I'll hang out, lamb stew, whatever. But they were asking me to sign for some weird number of years, and my father said, you're going to be like Miss Kitty on freaking Gunsmoke. What do you really want? Yeah, what do you want to do?
Right.
And so it's weird. But yeah, you come up to some young actress, you're an idiot, you should stay.
No, of course.
That's awful. And you had spent your entire childhood there. I mean, you were a woman now. It's
right. I'm entitled to make dumb decisions, but
do you think it was dumb?
It was not.
No.
It was not a dumb
it
decision.
was.
It was not a dumb decision.
I'm cool with my decision.
We left.
Yeah.
We left. Obviously, Allison, and and I think I felt bad though because of Linwood, Linwood Boomer, who played my husband. But he's been so successful. I'm glad. I'm very happy for him, and I needn't have felt bad.
I think it worked out.
But he'd also gotten his sight back. They could have done more. But no, I was, I needed to do that. I never looked back.
You should.
I mean, I did go to visit and stuff.
You should be cool with that. I'm 100% cool with mine. Just big. Well, if you stayed longer, more residuals. As I go, but no. When I look at what I did go do, and I traveled, and I went, and I did this. No, it was the time personally in my life to go do other. It was like I was like, no, I'm 100% cool with. That's what I decided to do, and it was fine. And it seems to have worked out for you. Now, should I ask her
and
about
leave it to the Prairie to become spontaneously blind, which I was fearful of my entire life after seeing Mary go blind, and then spontaneously gaining your sight.
Okay,
so,
I think
there's hope.
I know I need to ask her this, but do we address the buggy crash? The buggy crash of the yep,
sure.
We do. I have to. People have asked, and we talked about this in Monaco, that people said, now, everyone on that show seemed to have awfully nice nails for the 1800s. We saw Melissa Gilbert had some beautiful French tips at one point in 1882, and it was like, what is going
had
on?
Them too for a little while,
and there were people remarked that they noticed them. It was like a buggy crash, and thing. They go, wow, girl's got some nails. Wait, what is happening? She's blind, and it's the 1800s, and she has these absolutely fabulous manicure thing. And people have made wisecracks about this on the internet about the nails. But I
made a video about it.
You have there's
hilarious.
A backstory. There's a story. There's an explanation. You explain
clear
this.
up the nails for us.
Well, yeah, I was trying to keep my nails long and not broken, to just keep them from breaking, if I possibly could, because I was nominated for an Emmy that year, and I wanted to go to the, and in those days, natural nails were not the thing.
Oh no, it was all acrylics all the time that year.
Yeah, I mean, or if you were lucky enough, you could get them wrapped. You could do all these different things, but certainly long polished manicures were totally the thing.
100%.
And so, it never occurred to me that I could have, done something on the day instead and not done that, and not because I look back at it now and I'm mortified. It's like, oh, I should never have done that. And they shouldn't have let me get away with it, but they were so nice that they did.
Well, I can't believe that they let you guys all get away with it.
I know.
That's insane to me.
I know it was way over the top, and yeah, they were understanding of a 16-year-old girl, and that was very nice.
And you said you had another occasion where you had gorgeous nails, and they went, "Okay, we have gloves."
Yes, that was so exciting. That was a fun. I was doing this TV movie called Midnight Offerings, where I played a witch, and I had long,
like you do,
bright red nails that I had painstakingly polished, and I came from work. They picked me up from work. I was working like in Mar Vista or something, I think. They picked me up from work and they drove me to the Van Nuys Airport, where I met Mike and Cindy at the time, and we took the Learjet. I mean, this was unbelievable. This was like, okay.
Whoa.
We took the Learjet to Sonora, to California, to do these courtroom scenes, I think we had.
Wow.
And I was praying that they wouldn't make me, that they wouldn't see my hands, and it's because I would have to redo this manicure over the weekend before I went back to work on Monday. And Mike said, we'll just give you some gloves. And wardrobe was fine about it too. Oh, sure, gloves, no problem. And I was like, oh, thank God, that was really good.
Michael Landon must have taken a shine to you, girly girl.
Making sense.
Well, he had a daughter, a couple of daughters, so he knew.
I'm just like, make it make sense, and now it makes sense. And now, I mean, when I first met you, because everybody had the perfect nails, everybody had the perfect nails, the perfect this, and I was like, at least I didn't bite mine. I know Melissa Gilbert one point said I get acrylics because I bit the damn things. I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety.
When I first met you, because you had, as I said, you had the Breck shampoo commercial hair. I could never get my hair to do that with the Breck commercial, and hence I wind up in a wig. I remember thinking like that you had this image of, oh, is she a cheerleader? Was she homecoming queen? This sort of perfect blonde, etc. But like, I'm finding out you're not like. I mean, you were more the kid in the library. Were you ever, in fact, a cheerleader or a homecoming queen?
Oh, definitely not. No. I was always no. I was too shy, way too shy for that. And when I was in public school, when I, early in my acting career. And I would do a commercial or something, which I didn't do a lot of because I wasn't a real commercial look, and they weren't hiring 10-year-olds for the Breck commercials then. It was either babies or beautiful women with long hair, right? But so I didn't really fit the bill for a lot of commercials, but I did maybe 10 or 12 of them. And whenever I would go back to school, I got such ribbing and such teasing, and it was merciless. And I just, I couldn't stand it. I was mortified. I was shy, so I didn't want to be singled out. And of course I was singled out, and it was just awful. So I was approaching, I think I was getting into the later grades of 4th grade, 5th grade, and then 6th grade would be middle school, which would have been, I did go to 6th grade, and it was awful. It was even worse.
Middle school.
And yeah, so then eventually I transferred schools and went to a private school, and the kids were really nice. They were really nice, even though I'd be gone most of the year and be there for a couple months in the spring. And they were welcoming, and they were nice. So that was great. But I still was not. I would never be a cheerleader or homecoming queen or any. No.
That's crazy. We were all
as
bullied as kids. That's what is that?
I didn't do it. I didn't even get over to prom, let alone be the homecoming queen. That was like, no, not happening. Happening.
It's also so interesting to me that these painfully shy people, you say you're so shy, but your work and what you had to do was like reaching into the depths of the pits of emotion, and that the fact that you were able to do that seemingly without any barriers. I mean, you seem so easily to access those emotions. It's surprising to me that actors who say they're so shy are able to do that so easily.
Well, I think it's probably because that's your outlet. That's your emotional outlet. That's where you feel the most comfortable
and safe, right?
So that's probably, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I would love to talk about some of your beloved castmates.
She has
I'm going to name a few, and you can just.
Is this the
say a
word?
few
This the
words.
word association portion
No,
of the show?
it's not word
I'm never good at that.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just one or two words. I mean, we
can
really
say
want to
whatever
know
the
what
heck
you
you
think
literally
of
be
some of
like,
these people.
yeah, quick. Okay, here we go. Karen Grassley.
Ultimate Ma.
Robin and Rachel Greenbush, the twins.
Misunderstood.
Oh,
Poor baby Carrie.
literally and figuratively. Okay, good.
Yes. Yes.
Pick it on baby
Yeah.
Carrie.
Charlotte Stewart.
Delightful.
True.
Yeah,
Ooh,
very
and a
delightful.
lot of people want to know about this next one. Ketty Lester, because you worked so intimately with her.
Interesting.
She's a very interesting. Yes.
And very a great actress.
Yeah.
But she was an interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Catherine McGregor.
Another interesting person. And she was a great actress too. She's a very, very good actress. Yeah.
Linwood Boomer. Adam.
He was zany and probably I think he loved to embarrass me because he was so silly. I mean, he was just I don't think I'd met anyone like him ever before. And he was just so silly. And yet he was, such a good, serious actor.
And the two of you were so good together.
I thought we made a nice team. We did.
You really did. And just so you know, he said some really wonderful things about you at the Simi Valley Festival.
Oh, that's nice.
He attributed you to helping him out a lot because he didn't know how to act on camera yet. And he said, she'd just sort of take me and pull me to the right mark that I'm supposed to be at. And you were very, very helpful to him.
I don't even remember that. I just remember that he was, so funny and super, super nice and very good. Very, very good.
Yeah. Your sis, Melissa Gilbert.
Melissa, fun loving. Yeah. And I can't think of the word, but I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but definitely she seemed to have the most fun of all of us, I think.
Interesting.
That's interesting. And then finally, of course, Michael Landon.
Well, he was a genius at this kind of work for sure. He was a great actor and a great guy, terrific guy. He had his I think he had, a mean streak as well. He was like all of us. He certainly was not perfect, but he was always great to me. And I think, it came up a lot in Monaco. If they redid Little House and a reboot, and I always say that I don't think it would be successful because they don't have the main ingredient. I mean, you can fill us, really, you can fill it with actors and good actors, but he really had the secret. He knew, like Allison was saying earlier, he knew what he had and he knew what to do with it. And I don't think anyone else could do that.
People always said about Michael that he knew what he was trying to do better than anybody else around him. I mean, he was crystal clear with the vision, very clear with the vision.
Yes, I would agree, definitely.
Okay. And how about if you can tell us, do you have your top 3 favorite episodes?
We make everyone do that.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah.
Do they have to be episodes that she's
Not
in?
necessarily.
No, they don't have to be ones you're
that
in.
They don't have
I
to
like the raccoon. What are you gonna?
Yeah.
Oh, the raccoon. Oh my gosh. I haven't even thought of that one. I like I like A Harvest of Friends. I just find, it's very sad and sweet and nice.
Yeah.
I like Country Girls because it was our introduction. Everyone, it was the beginning of all of us working together as kids and everything. And I guess for me, the two-part Going Blind episodes would be my
Well, ratings gold, Melissa. I mean, the top-rated episode in the history of the series. The top, absolutely the number one. Well, it is. I mean, it is empirically the number one episode in the history of the series.
I think we were number 2 the first week and number 1 the second week. Yeah, it was very exciting.
Boom.
It was definitely exciting.
Those episodes are so special. It makes me feel so good to hear that you liked doing them because they're really incredible.
I did. It was a lot of work. It was really, but when you're a young actress, what's work? I mean, I loved it. And I learned how to perfect the kind of gaze that I had because I wanted to be able to not stop the crew or anyone else from crossing my eye line if they needed to. I wanted to be able to not see them. And so I was able to do that. So, because I didn't want to be a diva, I didn't want to be, nothing in my eye line. And, I'd never been before. And I thought, I'm not going to start now. So I was proud of myself that I was able to concentrate and achieve that. So.
Yeah. And achieve that you did. Yeah. You rocked it, quite frankly. We are going to do an entire Patreon segment of listener questions because they wrote in to specifically ask you their burning questions, but we're going to do one right now. And I'm going to read from Wani and Pizza 7. This must be an Instagram.
Love these names.
Wani and Pizza 7 says, I really loved your acting on the show. I remember that you were my first favorite actress and character on the show. Yes, hello. They want to know, how was your reaction to being told that you were going to be blind, and how did you get the role? So I guess, what was your audition process, and did you know you were going to play blind when you first auditioned?
Wow. It's a lot.
Wow.
Take the love. No. Take in the love. Yes.
Well, yeah. Thank you for the questions. Did I know I was going to play blind? I don't think I even thought about that. I didn't think that far ahead. But how we got, I would imagine it was similar for Allison too, and maybe for Dean, although Dean might have been more a little less big. Maybe because in the early days they had us do, I had to do a network meeting with all the suits at NBC first, and that was when my agent told me it was a pioneer Western. I think that's what she said. It's a pioneer Western. She didn't know what it was, so I had no idea what it was that I was going in for until they told me, and then I was so excited because I knew I had read the books. So first I did that, and then I think they narrowed the field down a bit, and they had me go and read. I went to Paramount and read with Mike Landon in his office, and that was very exciting. My mother was beside herself.
Yes.
She just couldn't believe when she got to meet. I was at the very end of the day, so. He was going to leave, and he came out. Oh, that made it. That's right. I think what happened was he walked me out of the office, and I had told him a story about, well, not a story, but just a couple of lines that I had. It was interesting. I said, I always wanted to watch Bonanza. And I especially liked the one where you went blind, believe it or not. That's what I said. And I said, but my mother put me to, that's what it was. When we were walking out, I pointed to my mother and I said, but she put me to bed in the middle of it. And he did this whole thing. He went, what? You put her to bed? And, and my mother was like mortified. She was so embarrassed. And, and he was super nice. Honest. And my mother was very, very pleased, so to speak, to meet him. And then what happened after that? Oh, then a screen test.
Oh, wow.
We did a screen test at Paramount where they put all of these potential Marys and Lauras in and we were all going to school. It was like November or something. So we were all going to school. So we were all in the schoolroom, a little kind of walled off area on the set, going to school, and then they would pull us out two at a time and do our. And then they would change it up. They would have a Mary go to be Laura, and then a Laura be a Mary, and then they finally, at the end of the day, I kind of worked the full day pretty much. They dismissed all of us and kept just one or two Lauras and one or two Marys, but I wasn't one of them. And my friend Tracy Savage had been up for, she was up for Laura.
Wow.
And then they switched her to Mary, and that didn't look good for me either. I was happy for Tracy, but anyway, so we were both finished. They let us go with all the rest of the girls. So we left, and my mother, I think, felt bad for us, so she took us out for ice cream, which we certainly accepted. We didn't feel that bad. We went home and played basketball, and I don't know how long it was after that, a week or two or something. I don't remember. But I got this call, I think it was like on a Friday night, and I was eating dinner. And it was my agent. And she said, "What are you having for dinner?" And I told her, I can't remember what it was, but I told her. And she said that I got the job on Little House on the Prairie, but only if I lose 5 pounds.
Oh,
I hate
and
this
I was like,
business.
okay.
How old were you
Yeah.
now? You're what, 12?
I was 11.
11.
11.
I was 11 because she said that they said that my face, wait. Yes, it was my face that was the issue. My face was very round,
Oh,
but they said I was too well, and nothing else showed. I mean, you're all covered up in long dresses and everything. I mean, how could anyone know what you weighed? But yeah, I was too well fed looking for a pioneer.
Oh, good God.
So, so then
yeah.
years later, I told Mike, it came up, and something about dieting or something came up, and he said, "Well, it wasn't me," and I said, "It wasn't you?" He said, "No." So it must have been Ed Friendly, because then they were at that time. Uh-oh.
Your lights are going wonky. Oh, you're there. You just
There
you're
you
right
are.
there.
Oh, you look good.
There you go. Or was it a network suit? I mean, they're usually the ones who are freakishly obsessed with.
It may have been. I have a feeling it was probably Ed Friendly, because he was the other producer at the time, executive producer with Michael. And if it wasn't Mike, and I believe Mike. I think he would have told me by that time. He would have said something.
And I don't think that was his thing. I don't think that was his thing. Because remember, Pam Lance said, and she said it was some network thing that came down. Could you lose 5 pounds? It was like, yeah.
Oh,
and
well,
it was not Mike.
Maybe it was then. Maybe it was. Maybe I've been thinking it was Ed Friendly all this time.
There's some weirdo who was sitting there at NBC giving everyone anorexia. This is just some guy telling everybody to lose weight.
That could be.
Well, you came through it all really well, actually.
Even though I might have been hungry.
Yeah, you may have been hungry. Yes, may have been a little hungry, boy, but you survived it. Well, you look great now.
Is this why?
You look great
You
now.
always looked great. Forget that. You
okay,
always
is this
looked
why
great.
the love of
Thank
the
you.
diet Tab? Because Tab soda was a thing in the
Right.
70s. It was the
Oh
rage.
my God, my sister
and,
loved
That's
Tab.
right.
And
yeah,
yes, and
Tab.
you were
Tab.
into the Tab soda. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Can you get Tabs? I think you can
Definitely.
get Tab soda.
still
you can
around.
order it.
It's
There's
still
places
around.
you can get it. And it's still.
It's still around. It's hard to get.
Yeah.
But but you can sometimes get it. Yes. I wish they'd come, bring it back for real. But,
So,
yeah.
well, Melissa, this has been great, and we have to cut this short now.
We only have 1,000 more
Wrap it up.
questions that we
Yeah,
totally could
but,
ask, actually. But
look, we were going to. Well, we have to wrap this up now.
This was fun, and it's nice to see you. And you told I asked you. I think if you remember when you first asked me if I wanted to do it, I said, "Oh, I just call in. It's on." You said, "No, you've got to do this and you've got to do that." I'm like, Oh, I'm so glad I said sure. But
Well, you look
yeah.
good. You look good. Fabulous hair,
Oh.
as always.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We are going to wrap things up. Thank you so much,
Amazing.
Melissa, for being
Thank you.
here. We
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I
been
appreciate
a
it.
joy. And come back next week. We'll be here, and look out for our Patreon page with more with Melissa. Not Anderson, not Sue. Melissa Anderson.
Anderson.
There we go.
And
Thank you.
Okay,
Bob, should we get the wig?
let's get the wig, Bob. All right,
get
let's
the
fly,
wig.
everybody. We're gonna fly out of here.
You can do it too. You remember.
It's the airplane.
Oh,
It's not an
right, right.
airplane. It's supposed to be a bird.